Welcome to the Clifton Williams Show. Gary Justice with the Justice Broadcasting Network and Coach, episode 3. A little busy week last week with 3 ball games, a Thanksgiving holiday, a little time on the road last week, Coach.
Yeah, we started it off with a big Thanksgiving dinner. We had almost 40 people come in. Great gathering. It was a great way to kick off the holiday weekend. Community service we did. We got here 9 o'clock on Thursday morning and helped fill plates that were delivered all over the county, and then trumped over to Campbellsville and played some basketball.
Yeah, you had an opportunity on it. And also, with those 3 games, that first game of the week was a conference game against Union.
Right.
And then you had the families that you talk about coming in, and then hit on the road and go to South Central Kentucky and take on a team receiving votes and the number 3 team in the country.
Yeah.
Two old foes back in the Mid South Conference days, Coach.
Absolutely. So we start with the Union game, right? And a little bit of slow start to that game, but we came in and made some halftime adjustments. Girls went out and really executed. I believe the second half score was 50-29. So went out and get the job done. Our goal every time we go out is how consistent can we be for 4 quarters? And so that's the standard of play that we expect, and it's challenging. It's not easy to do. So.
Well, Coach, also against Union, ended up scoring 88 points, which I think started the ball started going through the bucket. They had a little bit of a slower start, but once the ball started falling, it fell at a pretty good clip, Coach.
Yeah, I felt like Union came in with a lot of energy. They played really, really well. They shot the ball really, really well early on. But when you look at the numbers, is that going to last over 4 quarters? Can we elevate our energy and our effort? And I think the key to it was we came out in the third quarter really, really aggressive. We pressed them full court and sped up their decision making, which forced some turnovers.
Coach, you one of your former bosses, John Calipari, always talked about you always had the UK always got the best shot from teams because they're always wanting to punch up. Preseason pick to win the conference this year. National tournament participants in the last few years as well, Coach. Do you feel that UPIKE has that same mark on them? You talk about Union coming in, playing with a lot of energy, coming to a nice arena to play a little basketball. Do you feel the other teams kind of mark this on their calendar as well, Coach?
Well, let's start. So we're picked preseason number 1. It's the 3rd year in a row we're picked preseason number 1 in the league. Then we're 5-0 in the league. And so, yes, absolutely, there's a target on your back. And how teams are going to come in, you're going to get their best shot, and you have to prepare for that. And so, we go through the scouting process, we watch film, we do all of those things, but we also have to understand what our standard of play is and how consistent can we be, relative to that.
It's I know going inside the huddle with Coach Compton on the men's side, ever since the University of Pikeville's been in the Appalachian Athletic Conference in most of the sports, including both men's and women's basketball. Again, this 3rd year in the AAC. This is your third year being picked, the preseason pick to win the conference, having the reigning conference player of the year in Allie Stone, and how well you guys played in the first 2 years, and like I said, being 5-0 in a conference, and it's like, wow, man. So they brought a lot of energy last Tuesday night, Coach. Long story short,
They really did, and we can expect that from everyone going forward, right? It's when you got the number 1 team and you're across from them. If you can knock them off, then you're elevating your team and your program, and you're climbing the ladder. So when you look at conference standings and you look at teams, I look at it like a ladder, right? So we're at the top of the ladder right now, and if whoever can beat us is going to take a step up on the rung, and we're coming down one, right? So that's how we have to look at it.
well then, Coach, after completing that win on Tuesday against Union, going 5-0 in conference, step out of conference, and you take the trip out into Campbellsville and played a couple of quality opponents. Again, Lindsey Wilson, the Blue Raiders receiving votes at the time. I think now they may be even 24th in the country on Friday night. Then turn around on Saturday, played the number 3 ranked team in the country, the Campbellsville Tigers. Thought process, Coach, in scheduling non-conference like that, Coach?
Well, the thought process is strength of schedule first, right? Like, we don't have the strength of schedule in our league to be prepared or to receive an automatic bid or I'm sorry, an at-large bid to the national tournament. So we have to build it into our schedule. And, hopefully we can go out and win some of those non-conference games, but we schedule hard. We've always scheduled hard, right? So our job is to prepare and which one of these games can we go out and steal? Lindsay and Campbellsville are playing well right now, and they're some of the top teams in the country on top of that. So going on the road certainly presented a challenge. And like I told the girls, it's only a wasted trip if we don't learn from the experience. And so it exposed some things individually, in players. It exposed things, in preparation. It exposed things collectively for us as a team. And so those are the things we need to focus on as we head back into conference this weekend.
And Coach, you talked about it. We talked about you off air. You and I were talking about this, including preseason. Your games against Division I Marshall, Thundering Herd.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, your opening game, you went on the road to number 5 Marion,
Mm-hmm.
and then you played the 5 conference games, and then the next 2 non-conference games were the number 24 and number 3 ranked team in the entire country. And Coach, I think a lot of things that you learned from Marshall, and then also against Marion, it kind of played into that 5-game winning streak. But then also this past weekend, as you talked about, the outcome wasn't what you wanted, but it's one of those things. In both those ball games, Coach, I thought you started off well. First period went extremely well, but then some adjustments were made. And so, what do you see the teams need to work on, Coach?
It's just consistency, right? We come in with a game plan. Are we all on the same page with the game plan and how we need to attack on both sides of the ball, right? How do we need to defend them? What's our help side need to look like on the defensive side? What actions do we need to run offensively to force them to really work on the defensive end, right? What can we expose? So just being consistent over 4 quarters in executing our game plan, being able to handle the adversity in the moment and get on to the next play. Obviously, we're a young basketball team. There's a little bit of frustration that goes in when shots aren't going through or we turn the ball over. It's like, it's all a learning process. And, you asked what my thought process is in scheduling these teams. Part of it is we're very, very young. And so for them to be able to see, like, this is what the top of the NAI looks like, right? This is where we're striving to go, over the course of your career. So to be able to see it gives you an idea, okay, we need to prepare a little bit differently in this area and in this area in order to elevate our team to be able to compete, with the top of the NAIA.
And Coach, even after a couple of losses, everything's not all negative. I know there has to be some good come out of this past weekend as well. What would you highlight? What's some of the things that come out this weekend or this past week that you want the Bears to continue doing for success?
Well, it's a next play mentality that we have to. It's effort regardless of the score. I thought Savannah Jarvis gave us some solid minutes in the Lindsey Wilson game. She had 6 blocks in that game. Our guards are trying to be as aggressive as possible. I thought defensively we were really, really aggressive. All the calls didn't necessarily go our way or reflect that. So being more aggressive on the offensive end and being prepared to take open shots when they present themselves, especially in the first 3 quarters, that's something that we need to focus on and be ready to do. And in doing that, it teaches you how you need to go into your skill development work, right? Am I taking game speed shots in my workouts?
So, Coach, you after a busy week of 3 games and a Thanksgiving holiday and having, you had a lot of things with the community service project that you did.
Mm-hmm.
Then also helping on Wednesday night, you had the families, y'all all had a Thanksgiving dinner together. Then you come back this week and you have the week off until Spartanburg Methodist on Saturday. So how does that change your schedule? Because this is the first time, correct me if I'm wrong, this is the first time you haven't had a midweek all season.
No, this is a bye week, and it's the first time. I almost chuckled when you said you had the week off.
I
was like,
I
can't remember the last time I had a week off.
I mean, from game action. That's what it was. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yes.
Oh, no problem. It's just I almost laughed at that. So, yes, no midweek game, which allows us a little bit of extra time to really focus on ourselves. So, we spent the time yesterday doing some half court stuff and just working on decision making in the pick and roll and trying to break some of these things down to help elevate, the decision making, in game. We're going to continue to do that some today, and we'll start our game prep tomorrow and Friday for Saturday. So that's what the extra time affords us to do, to be able to just break some things down. We watched film on Campbellsville and Lindsey Wilson yesterday to learn from that, and then we carry forward. So that's it. It's all learning. It's, again, being as young as we are, and even for the veteran players, the learning is ongoing. We can always improve in all areas, right? Guards, forwards, primary ball handlers, everybody's continuing to learn.
And Coach, you've taught me so much this year doing the Clifton Williams show and showing some things after the cameras are turned off about how you guys prep. There's so much work. I mean, as soon as that final buzzer sounds, you're prepping the tape in order for the next practice or next games running. Literally minutes after the ball. Sometimes sometimes the men will play after you guys. You're already starting to load the film up for the scout. Would you kind of share at a high level what happens after a game, after a game day, and
Sure.
get you prepared?
So I'm going to give credit where credit is due, because I really learned this at Kentucky, right? I learned this from Tim Asher, right? And when you're in a conference schedule, you're playing twice a week, and so from a preparation standpoint, let's say we play Wednesday, Saturday, right? So the preparation for the Wednesday game needs to be complete, because we're going to start showing film on Monday to the team, right? We'll start showing defense on one day, offense the next day. So Monday, Tuesday, they see film. The scouting report needs to be ready to go out 2 days prior to that game, so Monday. So the preparation for that, if we've already played on Saturday, is Sunday, or in the hotel room on Saturday,
Right.
or Friday, prior to us playing on Saturday. So the prep work starts way before then. So when you really think about it, right? So for that Wednesday game, that prep will probably start Friday, Saturday before, for that next Wednesday game, because the prep for that Saturday game is already done. We're just showing film to the team and going through practice. So what I'd like to have done is, by tip-off of that Wednesday game, the Saturday's preparation needs to be done, right? So once we're done on Sunday with Wednesday, we immediately begin on Saturday's prep. So this is why there's no days off.
No
And
days off.
and it's all in service to them. Like, what do we need to do to put them in the best position possible to be successful? Because we could take those days off and not invest as much as we need to in the preparation. But I grew up in the video room, and there's no shortcuts, right? There's you can take them, but it's going to cost you.
So something that I've always admired you, how you handle the program, how you're always prepared, leave no stone unturned. You don't assume anything about teams, regardless of how the team is playing, what the record is that's coming to play you guys. You approach that ball game as if they're I don't know, the LA Lakers coming into play, or the New York Liberty of the WNBA coming into play. You're focusing as, hey, we're going to play that. They're playing like an NAIA championship level. So I've always admired your prep, but then what you were sharing with me of how, when that prep starts again, you talk about the Wednesday, Saturday, and sometimes I'll be on the broadcast, and on Saturday may try to get a free interview and say, hey, can I get you the next game, because I've got to get my stuff loaded up for the prep time is absolutely amazing, and I admire that view about you, because a lot of these young ladies may want to become coaches, and
Right.
they can see what you're doing, Coach, and it's a tall task, and we appreciate what you do, Coach.
It's like I tell or ask recruits, and I talk to our kids. It's like, how much do you love this, right? Because there has to be a love and there has to be a passion for this, because the work doesn't go away. There's no
That's right.
shortcuts to success, and you take a look at championship level programs, and what's Nick Saban say, right? Like, you think you have a choice in doing things, but you really don't. You don't have a choice if you want to succeed or play at a certain level. It is what it is. And so, like I said, I'll give credit to the video room in Kentucky and Tim Asher and these guys and John Robick too. It's like, how they taught me how to work, you know, to prepare for championships and championship contests. Never take for granted.
And so, Coach, and now making that, talking about the prep and as far as not just basketball. So now you start thinking about the impact you're having on the young ladies' lives here, of how much prep they'll put into whatever profession they decide to go into,
Mm-hmm.
how much they see there's getting that foundation that's laid for them, what's necessary. And I can go through, and this has been your 10th season, I can go through alumni after alumni after alumni who've been so successful, would be in the medical field, would be in the business field, who can probably point back to times with Coach Williams as far as, hey, our prep time, we left no stone unturned. That's helped me professionally.
You know, the first thing I'm going to say about that is all the credit of their success goes to the work that they put in. Right. If I had a small part in that, I'm humbled and I'm honored. But these young women, like you said, you can go down the list of who's been in medical school and who's out there delivering babies, and the nurses, and the business professionals, and so the international kids that we have had in this program as well, have just made a huge impact, not only on me as a coach, but on the program. And I can't say enough about their diligence and their character and how hard they put in, the effort they put in to what they wanted to do.
So, Coach, now coming off of 2 non-conference ball games, jumping back into the AAC for the next, I think for the next 3.
Yeah,
right?
That's right.
So I think we have Spartanburg Methodist on Saturday, then Milligan, then Tennessee Wesleyan.
Yes.
So what changes now, Coach, as far as, does anything change jumping back into conference action?
No, not really. I mean, the process stays the same. We'll get back into 2 games a week. Final exams are coming up, right? So I've got girls that, we're preparing us. I met with a couple players earlier today, and, they're preparing for their finals in their labs. So it's semester's winding down. And so it's always a challenge to keep them locked in once school's let out, because we're still going to be playing basketball for a little while, and we'll have some big games coming up, right? So, we'll have Shawnee State and we'll have Rio before we go on Christmas break, which we'll step out of conference again, and test and see where we are against some pretty strong competition.
Well, like you talked about, these conference games are, I'm not going to say the most important, but this is the ticket.
No.
This is the ticket of the national tournament.
No,
so.
it's not to minimize, how important these conference games are, because they are our ticket to the national tournament, right? And so we can't take any at-large bid for granted, right? We feel like, going out and winning the league or winning the tournament is punch your own ticket, right? Control your own destiny and control your own future.
Don't put it in don't put it in the hands of somebody else. Right.
Don't put it in, why put it in the hands of people sitting in a room that you're not sitting in? You have no say so.
Because you're not allowed in the room during the selection.
No, absolutely not.
Day.
Like you don't ever want to be in that situation, because there's a lot of important conversation that happens about you from time to time when you're not in the room. So how are you handling your business before all that happens?
So, Coach, this is my close for you, as we're taping this on Wednesday afternoon, and you play on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming you'll travel on Friday, Coach?
Yes, we will.
And then
it's about a 4-hour drive to Spartanburg.
And is this the first time you play? I know this is the first year in the league for them. Is this the first time you played them, Coach?
First year in the league, first time we played them, first time we'll go to their place. We've been pretty darn good on the road here in conference, so we want to continue.
Well, definitely we wish you the best of luck, Coach, and just something, hopefully we can keep this hot streak going inside the conference. And I love seeing in the conference standings, I love seeing that 0 on the right side, Coach.
Yeah, we want to see, let's put another curved letter next to it in the 6, right?
Well, Coach, definitely we want to wish you safe travels and the best of luck this week against the Spartanburg Methodist Pioneers, I believe is what their nickname.
I believe so.
The Pioneers. That's my first time.
Yeah.
Being the first time in the league, it's had an opportunity to go to a new gym and see some new players, and it's I know we'll be prepared, and our ladies will be ready to compete, Coach.
Yep, it's just a matter of showing the film. The prep's in the can already.
Preps in the can. Perfect.
Yep.
Deal. We appreciate you guys tuning into the Clifton Williams Show, and for Coach Williams, Gary Justice, and the Justice Broadcasting Network. Appreciate you guys tuning in, and also please remember, it's always a great day to be a Bear.
Let's go Bears.